There's a quiet confidence in the way some seniors move, steady, upright, almost as if they're gliding through life's little obstacles. Have you ever noticed? It's not luck or genetics. It's something learned, something practiced. Today, I'll share the 5 walking tricks I discovered from seniors who never seem to fall. If you're over 50 and want to walk with more balance and peace of mind, this story is for you. A few years back, I found myself quietly observing the people in my neighborhood, especially those who seemed to move through life with a certain grace. Among them was my neighbor, Mr. Harris, a retired school principal in his late 70s. Every morning, rain or shine, he'd step out of his front door at precisely 7:30, wearing his old windbreaker and a pair of sturdy walking shoes. He'd stroll down the sidewalk, greeting everyone with a nod or a gentle wave, never hurried, never distracted. What struck me most was how he navigated the world. Each step measured, each movement calm and assured. One winter morning, after a night of freezing rain, the sidewalks were slick with ice. I watched from my window as younger folks shuffled cautiously, some even slipping, while others avoided walking altogether. But there was Mr. Harris, moving with the same steady rhythm as always. He paused at the curb, glanced ahead, and continued on, unfazed by the treacherous conditions. It was as if he had an invisible guide, something more than just experience or luck. Curiosity got the better of me. I waited for him to return and met him at his gate. "How do you do it?" I asked, genuinely puzzled. He smiled, his eyes crinkling with warmth, and invited me to join him for his walk the next morning. That invitation felt like a small gift, a chance to learn from someone who had clearly mastered the art of moving safely and confidently through the world, no matter what lay underfoot. The next morning, I met Mr. Harris at his gate, bundled up and ready to learn. As we set off, he began to share his approach, not as a lecture, but as a gentle conversation. "Most people," he said, "think walking is automatic, but after a certain age, it becomes an art." He explained that the first trick was to always look ahead, not down at your feet. "Your eyes are your guide," he told me, "and when you look forward, your body follows." He demonstrated, lifting his gaze to the horizon, scanning for uneven pavement or obstacles. The second trick was to keep steps short and controlled. "Long strides throw you off balance," he said, showing me how he placed each foot carefully, almost as if he was measuring the ground. The third trick was to let his arms swing naturally at his sides. "Your arms are your balance poles," he smiled, gently swinging them in rhythm with his steps. Next, he pointed out his shoes, sturdy with a firm grip. "Good shoes are your foundation," he said, tapping his toe on the sidewalk. Finally, he paused before a curb, taking a breath and checking his footing before stepping down. "Never rush transitions," he advised. Each of these tricks, he explained, was simple but powerful. They weren't about walking faster or farther, but about walking smarter. As we continued, I realized these habits were woven into every step he took, making his walk look effortless and secure. Adopting Mr. Harris's walking tricks brought a quiet transformation to my daily life. At first, I had to remind myself to look ahead instead of down, to shorten my steps, and to let my arms move naturally. It felt unfamiliar, almost awkward, but with each walk, these habits became second nature. I noticed a subtle shift, not just in my balance, but in my confidence. The fear of stumbling or losing my footing, which had crept in over the years, began to fade. I found myself enjoying walks again, taking in the sights and sounds of the neighborhood rather than worrying about every crack in the sidewalk. This new way of walking also changed how I approached other parts of my life. I became more mindful, more present in each moment. I realized that moving with intention, rather than rushing or acting on autopilot, brought a sense of calm and control. Friends and family noticed the difference too. They commented on how steady I seemed, how I moved with a quiet assurance that hadn't been there before. Reflecting on this change, I saw how easy it is to overlook the small adjustments that can make a big difference. Many of us, as we get older, accept a certain level of uncertainty with each step. But learning these simple tricks reminded me that we can regain trust in our bodies. It's not about denying age, but about adapting with wisdom and care, and finding a renewed sense of freedom in something as simple as a daily walk. As I continued to walk with Mr. Harris and practiced his 5 tricks, I started noticing others in our community who seemed to move with the same quiet confidence. There was Mrs. Lee, who always took her morning walk with her little dog, and Mr. Patel, who enjoyed an evening stroll after dinner. They, too, seemed to follow similar habits, eyes scanning ahead, steps measured, arms swinging gently, and a pause before every curb or change in terrain. It became clear that these weren't just Mr. Harris's personal quirks, but shared wisdom among those who valued their independence and safety. I began to pay closer attention to the details. On rainy days, I saw how these experienced walkers would slow down, test the ground with their toes, and never let a slippery patch catch them off guard. When chatting with neighbors, they would stop walking altogether, focusing on the conversation rather than trying to multitask. Even when carrying groceries or walking with grandchildren, they kept their movements deliberate and balanced, never sacrificing safety for speed. These observations reinforced what Mr. Harris had taught me: balance and stability are not about being overly cautious or fearful, but about being aware and prepared. The people who walked like this seemed to enjoy their outings more, often stopping to admire a blooming flower or exchange a few words with a friend. Their approach to walking was a reflection of their approach to life: thoughtful, attentive, and always open to the small joys along the way. If this story resonated with you, please like or subscribe to The Quiet Start. Or, share your own walking wisdom in the comments below. This video is for general educational and inspirational purposes only. Please reflect and consult professionals when applying life lessons.